Hi teachers, this quick video is going to walk you through some tips and tricks for organizing your Google Drive. Please keep in mind that everyone's Google Drive is going to look different and you'll need to organize things the way that you see best fit for your circumstances. So to get started, I want to talk about just going to the Drive site. So you can always come up to the right-hand corner and click on the Google Apps and select Drive. But if you can't find this app cube, you can also get to Drive by going to simply drive.google.com. And that will take you right to your Google Drive. So once you're there and in that Google Drive, across the top, you're going to see some quick access. The quick access documents are the last 4 to 6 things that you've opened in your Google Drive. Keep in mind that this is not the actual document, and you notice I can't drag it anywhere, I can't move it, I can't change it. These are just going to always be the pictures of the last 4, 5, 6 things that you have opened. So you don't have any control over what the quick access shows. Over here on the right-hand side, you have a couple options for changing the way that your drive looks. I happen to like my drive in the tile view. Some people prefer to have their drive in the list view. So the list would be very similar to what you probably see on your regular computer. Tile view, a little bit more like those icons where you can see all the pictures, which is actually another reason why I like the tile view, because when you have documents, it shows a little picture of the file as well. In addition, you have a section where you can click name and you can sort your items by last modified by me, or last opened by me. I tend to leave things sorted by name. In your files list, as you scroll down, you're going to first see your folders, and then once you scroll past all your folders, you will find your files. So you can scroll down and your files will be down at the bottom. I happen to like color coding a few of my folders to make them stand out. Things I use often. This is actually not one I use very often. So I'm going to change the color back to that grayish color. Classroom is one that I happen to use very often. I also happen to use my Google Templates folder quite often. So I do have that colored as well. So to do that, you just right click on the file, or right click on the folder I mean, come down to change color, and then you have a whole palette of colors to change. If you're stuck with finding something in Drive, your best bet is to actually go up to the search bar and use the advanced options. So if you click this little drop down at the top, you have some advanced options to search through your Drive. You can choose the type of thing it is. You can choose the owner. Anyone, owned by me, not owned by me, or you can even list a specific person's name if you know someone else owns it. This is the one I love, the location. You can search anywhere, but you can also change it to search in your shared with me. And we know a lot of times when people share stuff with us, it gets lost in that messy shared with me, which I'm going to talk about in this video as well. You can in trash, starred, date modified, item name. I love the has the words. So this will actually, if it's possible for the computer to go through the file and notice all the words, you can search for phrases or specific words that are within those files. So for example, I once had a science document that I was searching for. I knew I created it, couldn't remember what I made it in, didn't remember when I made it, but I knew that somewhere in there was the word circuit. So I simply searched through my entire drive for everything that contained the word circuit and was successful in finding the document. Maybe you've shared it with someone, or maybe you've marked it for follow-up. Any of these features can help you further narrow down your list when you're searching for things in your Google Drive. So over on the left-hand side, you can see all of the different aspects of your drive. So you can mark things for priority. Shared drives are very different than shared with me. So if you have shared drives, you probably are aware a little bit about how they work. If you don't have shared drives, I would just completely ignore that for right now. Under My Drive, I can click the drop down on the left-hand side and I can see a list of all of my folders. This will come in great use, or come in handy, I guess, when you start organizing and dragging files. Under computers, this is where you will see your computers that you have the sync running on. So one confusing part is when you have that backup and sync running on your machine, is that your files are going directly into your Google Drive. In a way they are, but they're really actually going under the computers. And the reason why is Google wanted to keep that separate so that you didn't have even more of a mess in your drive. So your files that are being synced are actually in the computer section, not directly in your drive. You can add them if you want to, and I'll show you how to make sure stuff is added to your drive. Your shared with me. So your shared with me, just keep in mind, your shared with me was never meant to be organized. It is a dumping ground for everything shared with you. And if you're on lots of Google Classrooms, you're going to notice it is a giant mess. So my suggestion would be, when you find something in your shared with me, or you find something in your computers that you really want to hold on to and you want to come back to it for reference later, you would simply want to right click on it and select Add Shortcut to Drive. If you need a copy for yourself, instead of clicking Add Shortcut to Drive, you would want to select Make a Copy. This ensures that you get ownership rights of that new document and you can do what you need to with it. This is a great option if a coworker has shared a template with you and you want to use that template in your own classroom, but maybe you want to customize it. So again, find what you want, right click on it, click Add Shortcut to Drive. When I click Add Shortcut to Drive, it will automatically pop up, allowing me to choose where I want to add that shortcut. So taking the time to actually choose the folder you want to put your shortcut in, or you want to put that file in, is really important, so that way you don't have more mess in your Google Drive. So remember, shared with me, not meant to be organized. Right click, add the things you want to your Google Drive. Keep in mind, if you have a Google Classroom, you do not need to add those things to Google Drive. So if I right click on this, I will see an Add Shortcut to Drive, but I know that this was shared with me through Google Classroom. So I don't need to add this to my classroom again, or to my drive again. So you'll also have your recent, starred, and your trash that you can navigate through as well. So let's talk about organizing. We're gonna go back out to my main drive, and I have mine in tile view, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a mess here. I've got documents that need to go into folders, and it would help me if I got them all into folders so I didn't have random documents sitting out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to where I can start to see my files, and I am going to open up to see all of my folders on the left. I can scroll through my folders this way. I can find any folders that I need. And then over here on the left, I can simply click on the things I want to move. So I can take one file at a time and drag it over to the left. I can drag down, I can drag up, I can drag into folders if there's folders within folders in order to drop this file. Sometimes you want to drag more than one folder, and there's two options for this, so more than one file. So there's two options for this. The first is Shift, and how Shift works is you hold down the Shift. I come over here, hold down the Shift, I click the first file that I want to select, and then I click the last file, and you'll notice it selects all of the files in between. I can then drag all of these files, all 5 files, over at once. So that's one option. The second option I can do is I can click and I can hold down Control. When I'm holding down Control, I don't have to do the files all together. I can randomly select which files. I let go of Control and make sure my arrow is on top of one of the files I want to drag, and then I click and drag those over with a left click. So dragging those over, I find the folder I want to put them in, and I let them go. You should see those files then disappear from the screen that you're currently on. Do keep in mind across the top when you're in a folder, so I'm going to go into a folder here, it will show you which folder you are in. Obviously you can't drag files that are in this folder into the same folder. It's not going to go anywhere. So one last thing to keep in mind is when you are searching, if I search for something like rocks, okay, and I've got all these different rock documents here. If I start dragging these here and I drag them into a folder, notice that this document does not disappear. The reason why this document does not disappear is because I'm not in a folder. I am simply searching through my drive for anything containing the word rocks. So doing that is going to keep all of those files here. So keep in mind, if you're searching and dragging, pay attention to what you're dragging, because they're not going to disappear from the list because it's the things that you are searching for. So there's lots more you can do with organizing your drive, but first just start with dragging and dropping. Try using the Control or Shift button in order to multiple select items. Remember, Shift, you hold down Shift, click on the first document and then the last document, and it will highlight everything in between. You would lift up from Shift, make sure your arrow is on one of the documents selected, hold down a left click and drag. Control, you would hold down Control, select the documents you want to move, let go of Control, make sure your arrow is on top of a document that's selected, left click and drag. You can use Control and Shift together. So if I hold down Shift, select all of these documents, let go of Shift, now I'm going to hold down Control to unselect specific documents. I can approach things that way as well. Good luck with organizing your drive. Don't forget to email me if you have any questions.